It's a very human thing to find yourself in a pressure circumstance. You've been trained to meet standards that are here. You expect your team to meet standards that are here. And now, because of this pressure you're under, you start this rationalization that because of this pressure, I'm not going to be able to meet those standards. My team, I won't be able to lead my team to meet these standards. I'm going to have to deviate from them. I'm going to have to take a shortcut. And you may say to yourself, oh, I'm only doing it this one time. Next time I'll go out and I'll execute the way I know I'm supposed to. I'll meet those standards. So you take that shortcut. You accept that deviance from established standards. And guess what the consequences are? None. Not immediately. Nothing bad happens. Boss doesn't yell at you. There's absolutely no negative. The customer's not jeopardized. There are absolutely no immediate negative consequences to taking that shortcut, to accepting that deviance from established standards. What does that do? Very subtly, but immediately, it starts forming this false feedback in your brain and in the brain of the team. And that is, the absence of something bad happening when I accepted that deviance means it was okay to do so. What's going to happen the next time you find yourself in these same pressure circumstances? And there's always a next time. Because there were no negative consequences the first time you accepted that deviance, you're going to be mightily tempted to do it again. And you do it enough times, folks. You get away with it enough times, your teams get away with it enough times, and slowly, over time, what happens? The shortcut becomes the norm. Here's where you're supposed to be in meeting standards. Here's where your teams are supposed to be. Here's where you are. Here's where they are. This deviance is now invisible to them. It's automatic to accept the deviance, to take the shortcut. And what happens with normalization of deviance, folks, is it leads to predictable surprises. And in almost all cases, folks, the predictable surprise is not very pleasant for the team. And if you ever want an object lesson in a predictable surprise and what normalization of deviance is capable of doing, look at Challenger. Challenger was no accident, folks. Challenger was a predictable surprise. The time that rocket came apart, scattered throughout NASA and killed the crew, scattered throughout NASA and their contractors and filing cabinets and desk drawers were written documents, memos predicting the exact thing that did happen, i.e. failure of the O-ring was going to happen. Where did people get the information to make such predictions? From the best source available, flight data. It doesn't get any better than to get the piece back and see how it performed. And that's the case with these solid rocket boosters. They're not throwaway items. 25 miles up, they burn out, they're jettisoned, they have gigantic parachutes that are deployed. Air is trapped inside these tubes when they hit the water, so they temporarily float. Tugboats are positioned out there to put a line on them, tow them back to shore. There they are cleaned up, taken apart, inspected, and used over again. The operative word in this process is inspected. And on 14 of 24 missions before Challenger, Challenger was number 25. On 14 of 24 missions before Challenger, in the inspection process, quality assurance and safety people noted that the O-rings, which were never designed to be touched by fire, were being touched by fire. And they understood the ramifications of their findings. This design is flawed, it's going to fail, and people are going to die. Challenger was no accident, folks.